Good evening, everyone. We are now coming to the end of our event. Can you hear me? Yeah, now, yeah. So, I was saying good evening to everyone. We are coming now to the closing of our event. And I have to say, I feel so much more relaxed up here now that I spent the week with each and one of you, and we got to know each other by name. And many of the colleagues that are also virtually with us. So I would say we had a very, very productive conference. I would like to start this closing ceremony asking CIHA Secretary, Professor Jean-Marie Goulier, to please say a few words.
Claudia, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Claudia. And I won't take more than a few seconds of your time. As we all have seen since 2019, the adventure of the 35th Congress is a story of a struggle, a story of a fight, even one might say. A struggle led by the organizers against insurmountable problems we have never seen before, except for the world wars, a struggle to overcome them, and indeed, the CIHA almost never experienced such a crisis like this during his existence, and thanks to the energy, to the perseverance of the Brazilian organizer, these endeavors ended to be such a successful event. And during the last 5 days, we all have followed numerous sessions. We have all taken pleasure in engaging again, at last, I would say, the scientific international dialogue, in experiencing exchanges of view as well as numerous discoveries after these terrible periods. And we may have encountered some technical difficulties occasionally, but most of the time they were overcome. And this is why the Sao Paulo Congress marks definitely a turning point in the history of the CIHA and of the CIHA Congresses. Even if we all hope that the health crisis will completely be behind us at the moment of the next congresses in 2024 or 2028, this Congress led us to have experienced new ways of discussions, new innovative hybrid solutions, and these solutions will contribute to renewing the ways in which the international scientific dialogue could be engaged in the future. And for this reason, as well as for the quality of the talks we saw, we must congratulate once again the Brazilian organizer of this event, who made the Sao Paulo Congress a clear success, I guess, despite of all the difficulties, all the challenges they had to face over the last 2 years. So, congratulations again, parabéns e bravo, parabéns a vocês, Cláudia, Patrícia, Ana, Roberto, Jens, Valéria, Maria, Felipe, Marco e a todas as pessoas que eu não conheço. Parabéns para tudo realmente. And building on this success, we can now look forward to the next major event we are all expecting, the 36th World Congress in 2024. And that's why I now yield the floor for the moment of the handover of the flame to the new team of the coming World Congress in Lyon, in France. Thank you again and congratulations. Parabéns todos.
Thank you so much, Jean-Marie. Before we actually call on our colleagues to say some words about our next Congress, I would like to ask Professor Peter Krieger from the UNAM University in Mexico to say a few words in honor of our colleague Rick Asher.
Thank you. In memoriam, Rick Asher. There's a wonderful obituary of Jennifer Jane Marshall, chair of the Department of Artistry at the University of Minnesota, where Rick spent almost his entire academic life. I won't repeat this. Just talk about my personal memory of Rick. He was a wonderful person, and it was a privilege to work with him on the CIHA board for so many years. So we met on many board meetings, colloquia, and congresses. And I know that Rick was a key figure on his field of research, South and Southwest Asian artistry. But he was also very open-minded, interested in methodological innovation in our discipline. And I remember so many conversations with him on conceptual debates in artistry. And another aspect is that his efficient and productive attitude in the sometimes endless, and sometimes, sorry for saying this, even boring business meetings of the CIHA board, and he came to the point, suggested good solutions for problems. And I think this is a very good expression of American pragmatism. And I'd like to explain this with an anecdote. In August 2015, I was invited by the Brazilian Committee of Artistry to give a keynote lecture at the pre-conference of this Congress in Rio de Janeiro. And I wrote my paper, and as I'm not a native speaker of English, 10 minutes before the talk, I asked Rick, "Hey Rick, can you help me with a pronunciation of some words?" And he said, "Of course, Peter." So we did this. So this is just a short anecdote which shows that he was always open-minded, always directly helping to the people, his colleagues and friends. And that was a wonderful attitude of him. I like this very much. So now we are very sad that he's not with us in this wonderful Congress. And I'd like to say thank you so very much to all the organizers of this Congress. I know it's hard work. Jean-Marie said it, very hard work over years with all the team in realizing this Congress, and it turned out wonderful with so many inspiring ideas. So I'm really sad that I cannot be in Sao Paulo, but what I've seen on the screen via Zoom was so fantastic, and I know how much work it is, so thank you very much. So Rick was scheduled in our session number 1, chaired by Claire Farago and Jens Baumgarten, and they read in his honor his abstract, which contains brilliant ideas. So again, so sad that he cannot be with us. But Rick, and now refer to this wonderful photograph, you will never walk alone, wherever you are. We'll keep you in our mind and heart. And of course, we share this with his wife, Catherine B. Asher, Professor Emeritus of Artistry at the same University of Minnesota, where Rick passed all his academic life. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Peter, for honoring our colleague. Rick was, in fact, a huge enthusiast of CIHA and CIHA mission. And I recall that when we started thinking about the possibility of Brazil being candidate to host CIHA, he was incredibly enthusiastic, and I'm sure he is here with us today. And that said, now I would like to welcome Laurent Barillon and Sophie Ho, who are two of the organizers of the next CIHA, the 36th CIHA World Congress, which will take place in Lyon in 2024.
Thank you, Claudia. Hello, everyone. Thank you and congratulations to all the Brazilian team for the organization of the Sao Paulo Congress. It was wonderful, despite all the problems, difficulties you had to face with the pandemic, political and academic situation in Brazil. We are very admiring, and we hope to take over from you and Marzia Faeti as well, who organized the Italian part. First of all, we would like to thank the board of the CIHA and the French committee for entrusting us with the organization of the 36th Congress in Lyon from 23 to 28 June 2024. We are only two in face of you tonight, but you have to know that we are four organizers. France Nerlich, director of the research department at the Institut National d'Histoire de l'Art, Judith Kagan, state curator at the heritage department of the Ministère de la Culture, Sophie Rowe, and myself, Laurent Baridon, both professor of art history in Lyon University. Jean-Marie Guillouet, the scientific secretary of the CIHA, is of course associated with the organizing team. As you can see, the organizers represent various institutional, academic, and scientific situations in order to make this Congress inclusive and relevant to the entire community of art historians. The topic chosen for the CIHA 2024 in Lyon is Matter, Materiality. You will find a presentation of this theme and the different possible axes on the CFHA website, the French committee, that we invite you to explore. You can see the link on the slide. At that point, there is only a very general presentation, but the content of the site will be enriched soon, and we invite you to consult it regularly to keep you informed of the progress of the project. So the topic is Matter and Materiality. This theme provides an opportunity for fruitful intercultural and interdisciplinary dialogue on questions that promote a transversal perspective and the intersection of different approaches and methodologies. Matter and materiality are indeed inherent to the conception, production, and interpretation of artifacts in all cultures across all periods of time. Furthermore, it opens lines of questioning that are very current in light with societal issues of prime importance, such as the digital turn, globalization, and environmental challenges. To you, Sophie.
Thank you. To question materiality is to question the stakes of the immaterial and the virtual too. What are the current stakes of new technologies for the study of works of art, but also for the creation of works of art themselves? These brief remarks and ideas open up many questions that we hope to discuss with you in your presence in Lyon. It will be up to the scientific committee, and we can show the next slide, please. Thank you. To amend and refine the different topics in order to define the session calls. This committee is set up by now, and it will begin to work very soon by the 1st of February, in a few days. We are thinking about the possibility of having a hybrid congress in order to allow a wider public to participate, but we would like as much as possible to find a large participation in person in order to offer, in addition to the sessions, moments of informal exchanges, moments of conviviality, and visits in the city and in the museums in and outside the city of Lyon. Why Lyon? Lyon is a major city in the southeastern France, well connected to major European cities with an international airport and only 2 hours from Paris and Geneva. The richness of its historical, artistic, and cultural heritage makes it a very attractive destination. More than 400 hectares of historic Lyon have been classified as World Heritage Site by the UNESCO. The city offers about 15 museums whose collections can provide material for further exchanges: the Fine Arts Museum, the Contemporary Art Museum, the Fabric and Decorative Art Museum, the Confluences Museum, the African Arts Museum, among others. So let's move now to the key dates. We can have the next slide. Thank you. So the call for sessions will be launched in October 2022. The session chairs will be appointed in February 2023. Calls for paper will be issued in April 2023, and the selection of papers will take place in September 2023, and the final program will be published in November 2023. As for a general overview of the 5 days of Congress, we are thinking of a slightly different format from that adopted in the last congresses, an opening on the Sunday 23rd with one inaugural conference and probably an event to bring a wider public, for example, dialogue with an artist. Then 4 consecutive days of sessions and 1 day of visits and tours on the 5th day, the Friday 28th. And nevertheless, we are thinking about offering local visits from the middle of the afternoon of the 2nd day. So now we will end with a picture, the last slide, please. A picture of a garden of the Lyon Museum of Fine Arts, and we thank you for your attention. We hope to see many of you in Lyon in June 2024, and all the French team is looking forward to welcome you soon in Lyon in 2024. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laurent and Sophie. We are all looking forward to being in Lyon. And now I would like the president of CIHA, our friend and colleague Mattia Fayetti, to say a few closing words.
Yes. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Tor. I don't like closing remarks very much, especially because when I believe that when a Congress ends, it doesn't close, but opens something new. Having stimulated an intellectual reflection and therefore encouraged people to go forth to planning other initiatives. However, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the efforts and commitment of my dear Brazilian colleagues and friends have been fully successful. What at first seemed like an irremediable limitation, the impossibility of holding the Congress totally in person, was resolved thanks to the efforts of other colleagues and institutions all around the world that allowed this event to be broadcast on a wide geographical scale. The possibility of reaching more people through modern technology than an in-person event would allow is one of the contradictions of these times, undoubtedly problematic, that we are living in. Our is in fact an era of contradictions, not only due to the modification of some habits because of the pandemic. The third millennium opened with a rather serious historical contradiction, as the demand of being global were accompanied by the dangerous manifestation of sovereignty and nationalism in many parts of the world. Of course, this is not the place to explore the reason for this contradiction that seem to take us back in time. I will just say that in the current historical situation, such a close cooperation between two apparently distant countries like Brazil and Italy has gained an increasingly high value. Together, we selected the general theme motion, and motion is a term which puts the focus on processes, dynamics, and trajectories in time and space, embracing movement between places without being reduced to it. Together, we have developed this term in the two different but interconnected declination of transformation in Florence and motion here, migrations here. By creating a model of collaboration that transcends national borders and narratives, the CIHA shows the ability of art history and that of scholars from the most diverse cultural backgrounds to develop innovative perspectives and discuss the contribution that the field can provide for a sustainable future of the planet. Those are words that I quote these words from the introduction to the proceeding Florence 2019. The proceedings were published at the end of the last year, and we can find them on the website of the CIHA and of the International CIHA and on the website of the Kunsthistorisches Institut. For all these reasons, we invite all of you to join the CIHA and to collaborate with us if you share with us these ideas, these objectives. And finally, again, some ringraziamenti nella mia lingua al gruppo dei miei amici brasiliani. Volevo dire loro che mi manca molto la cerimonia della bandiera che abbiamo fatto insieme a Firenze. We have to bring Claudia, the flag of the CIHA, together with us to bring the flag to Lyon, to our colleagues. And because this symbol is full of, has a lot of a density of ideas that we have to transmit to the other colleagues all around the world. Buon lavoro ai colleghi di Lione, buon lavoro a tutti quanti e viva i nostri colleghi brasiliani, sono stati grandi.
Thank you so much, Marzia. Marzia, throughout this process, became a real friend, and I am very happy that we are not only sharing this Congress, but also sharing the CIHA presidency. So as we turn our term in June, I think, she will still be part of CIHA and will be making decisions and working together with us, with Brazil. And I think that is a real sign of how CIHA actually should work, that we should actually make sure we are always in contact and sharing with our partner countries. So now it's my turn to do some important thank yous to many people that were involved in making this Congress possible, and not only possible, but in my view, a big success. I would like to thank each and one of our organization committee members by name, because they worked for so long, for many years, more than usual, to make this conference possible this week. So I start thanking Ana Magalhães and Felipe Chamovitz from the Museum of Contemporary Art in São Paulo, Jens Baumgarten from the Federal University in São Paulo, Marco Pasqualini from the Federal University in Uberlândia, and also the president of our national committee, Maria Berbara from the State University in Rio de Janeiro, and her colleague Roberto Conduru, that now works at SMU Dallas. And finally, Valéria Piccoli from the Pinacoteca in São Paulo. And most of all, I would like to thank my colleague Patrícia Menezes from the University of Campinas. Patrícia not only collaborated actively and brilliantly with the academic conception and realization of the 35th CIHA Congress in São Paulo, but she has also been central in getting the whole CIHA operation in motion on ground. In the name of all of us, from the organization committee, we want to thank her for incredible hard work and devotion in taking care of this more than challenging event that had to occur in a hybrid mode due to the pandemic. I also want to thank our wonderful operation team, everyone from the Goethe Institute that was involved in helping us with the whole logistics of this event. We also like to thank ZAS Produções for their professional work. And we would give a huge thanks to the amazing Unicamp students, Laura Manganotti and João Felipe Rufato, who worked on building the online platform for the Congress and helped in so many other ways with the organization. We would like to thank Fernando Pesce and Tiago Biasoleto, who helped with the communication and also with all kinds of tasks during this week. We also thank Denilda Bortolotto and Sara Valbon for their wonderful administration support, and Rodolfo Nakakubo for building our website. And most of all, we would like to thank you, our public, and participants that were with us here in person and also virtually, making this Congress such an interesting moment of discussion and sharing. I now want to give the word to my colleague Patrícia, who will say a final words for us. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank Claudia for her very kind words. I'll be very brief. As many of you know, this event was a great challenge to organize and execute. So I would like to reinforce how grateful we are to our support team, Laura, João, Fernando, and Tiago. Without them, this Congress would simply not have taken place. After 2 postponements, it's a great pleasure and also a great relief to see that despite some small hiccups, everything worked well, and we were able to come together in productive discussions among peers. The hybrid sessions were very successful in connecting the in-person and virtual participants, producing lively debates. I was personally very happy with the experience I had hosting session 10 with my colleague, Professor Imode. As we conclude this event, we would like to inform that we are planning to publish the proceedings of the Congress online, so you'll hear from us very soon. And we also want to announce that certificates will be sent to all participants through email shortly. We thank everyone involved and wish the in-person participants a safe and smooth return home. Keeping with the CIHA tradition, we now pass the CIHA flag to our colleagues in France. We look forward to see you all in Lyon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for all. We have a closing cocktail, a big party, with this time with music. And thank you, everyone that cannot be here. You will be with us for sure. And hope to see everyone in Lyon in 2024.